What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we have got the final of the Archon Vault Tour in Poland. We've had a Vault Tour. It was a sealed Vault Tour. We finished it. It was fun. The final was posted, well, today, in fact, as I record this. Or stream. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm recording. If you're watching on Twitch, I'm streaming. There we go. And now we got the Archon final. Now on the left, we've got Konstantinos Retalis playing Z to Drive, the editor-designer. We saw him win in top 4. We saw him win, I believe, in top 16 as well. This is his third game on stream. And really, what stands out about his deck is the combination of Drummernaut and Gang of Chieftain on the one hand, and Grunt Buggy and Iron Obelisk on the other. Now this is an Age of Ascension deck. We don't usually see Age of Ascension decks in the finals of Vault Tours. Archon Vault Tours are not won by Age of Ascension decks, at least not up till now. But Konstantinos thinks he might be able to reverse the trend. Now, his deck relies around Grunt Buggy and Iron Obelisk to increase the cost of forging a key, and then a combination of Drummernaut and Gang of Chieftain to gain Amber. We'll be talking more about those as we go through. Litmus, the Stonekeeper of Joy, played by Panagiotis Kyriakou. I know Kyriakou's the last name. Panagiotis? I might call him Pan, please don't hate me. And he's got Dis, Logos, and Shadows. Now, he's actually got a Time Traveler deck, which is very, very cool. And it's got Library Access, and it's got Phase Shift, and it's got Mother, as well as Shadows for Stealing and Dis for Disrupting. So he's got 2 Charette. He plays one of them down on turn 1. Charette, when you play it, you capture 3 Amber. It's not the best turn 1 play ever, but it gives you a decent creature to start with. Now, Konstantinos here, he's got his Grunt Buggy, Gauntlet of Command, and a Groggins. Although, remember, as we learned in a previous rounds, Groggins has got to go after a flank creature. Now, Pan here, he's got a Library Access, and he is off. He plays, now remember, every card he plays now is going to draw a card. So down goes a Titan Mechanic. And I think that Titan Mechanic might have just drawn him into a Phase Shift. He's definitely got it in hand anyway. Now that's a Speed Sigil he's just drawn. He's got 2 of those in his deck, incidentally. Ganymede Archivist is down. Plays a Lab Work. Gets himself an Amber. Allows him to... Man, I could really do without that little warning coming up from Twitch. We don't need that. Now, Lab Work gives him an Amber bonus, lets him archive a card. Now, did he archive Bait and Switch? Now, he plays Phase Shift there, draws himself into... Is that Special Delivery, I believe? Now, he does play the Special Delivery. Now, of course, that is by virtue of his Phase Shift. Draws into a second Speed Sigil. Plays Twin Bolt and Mission, just to get a bit of damage onto the Groggins. And chooses to take some damage on the Titan Mechanic as well. And then just readies his creatures, and that's the end of his turn. Cool. That'll do. That'll do. So what's Konstantinos got on his first turn? He dropped down a couple of Brobnar stuff. Now, he does get Library of Babel down. It's a very artifact-heavy deck. He gets Filer the Researcher, and then he's able to use that card whose name I keep forgetting, even though I've seen it a million times. Entropic Swirl. Choose a creature. For each trait it has, deal it 2 damage and gain an Amber. Because we see 2 traits on the Titan Mechanic, Cyborg and Scientist, that does actually deal 4 damage and take it out because of the Twin Bolt emission damage that Pan put down himself. So 2 Speed Sigil go down. Now remember, Speed Sigil is double-sided. It says the first creature played each turn enters play ready, and that is for both players. So Dodger goes down, and that will enter play ready because of the Speed Sigil. Silvertooth, now it's good job we got that in the right order, because Silvertooth enters play ready anyway, so he can go about using both of them straight away. Now he's actually fighting with Dodger, takes out the Filer the Researcher. Remember, when you fight, you steal an Amber. And then he's got Silvertooth as well. You've got to imagine that we're just going to see See some reaping from Silvertooth there. Finally, the Researcher incidentally has elusive, so it was actually the special delivery that took out Philo the Researcher. All he actually did was Dodger was break the elusive. It's a nice little trick you've got for something like Dodger. It's 5 power with a fight skill, but it doesn't have skirmish. So you hit into something with elusive to activate the fight skill, in this case stealing an amber, without having to take any damage back onto Dodger for the fight. So it's a really clever way of actually doing things, using Dodger to break the elusive to get the fight skill working without then actually taking any damage onto Dodger. It's really, really nice. And now we actually see Pan finishing with 8 amber. Now as it stands, he's got to pay 7 to forge a key. Gub goes down, he becomes a 6 power creature, so now it's 8 to forge a key. We got a Tesmal down there as well. There currently isn't an Iron Obelisk in play, just a key to this. So as it stands, Panagiotis will be forging a key. He'll be paying over the odds for it, but he will be forging a key. If there was an Iron Obelisk down, it would cost 9, but there isn't, so it's not. Now, Gub here takes out the Dodger, takes 5 damage. If Tesmal goes down now, it will actually take Gub with it, because Gub's only a 6 power creature when it's not on a flank. So if Pan is able to take out, and it would be the Tesmal, because Tesmal's horrendous, when it reaps, you get to lock your opponent out of a house, then it would take down the Gub as well. But we do see Pan forging his first key. He pays over the odds, he pays 8, but he's forged. And that's going to be the big challenge for him here. Constantino's deck, is very much predicated on the Grump Buggy Iron Obelisk stopping his opponent forging. So if Pan can get a couple of early keys, that's going to help. So he gets Time Traveler, gets the amber bonus, draws 2 cards, uses Time Traveler to take out the Gub here. Oh, this is a beautiful play. Time Traveler then goes away, but he's able to immediately grab the Time Traveler with help from Future Self, which is then going to give an amber bonus for help for Future Self, then an amber bonus for the Time Traveler, then drawing 2 cards, to being able to use a Speed Sigil to use the Time Traveler straight away was great. Incidentally, the reason he didn't chuck it into Tesmal was because Tesmal has elusive. That was a beautiful play. So we do see a lab work coming down here, gains another amber, lets him archive a card. This is a very strong turn. Being able to double use a Time Traveler in one turn is absolutely huge. Now we see the Ganymede Archivist coming down, just gaining an amber by reaping, up to 5 already. Now remember, he needs 7. The Gub has gone, which is lovely. But we've still got a Groggins down, which means he's still paying 1 extra by virtue of the Grump Buggy. So we are going to have to really pay attention to the cost of keys in this game. That's one of the difficulties of trying to commentate on Zeta Drive, the editor-designer. The combination of Grump Buggy and Iron Obelisk with powerful Brobnar creatures, yeah, there's quite a bit on there. If I'm honest with you. There's quite a lot going on. Hey-ho. We will be all right, ladies and gentlemen. We will be all right. So, going back over to Konstantinos here, and we use Groggins just to reap, gain an amber, and then use his Key to Dis to just board wipe. That's one thing I love about Key to Dis. It is always there. You play it down, and it's an Omni ability. So it doesn't matter who your active house is or any of that, you can just play it. Oh, now. Ganger Chieftain goes down. Goes down ready because of the Speed Sigil. Good catch by the judge. Then we see a Gauntlet command to ready it again, so he actually gets to reap with it twice. Then he uses another Ganger Chieftain to ready it, and he actually reaped 3 times with the same Ganger Chieftain there. Played it ready because of Speed Sigil, readied it with Gauntlet of Command, there's nothing to fight, so you reap. Ready it with Ganger Chieftain, there's nothing to fight, so you reap, and that was good. Now he's not on check, and he's only got as much amber as his opponent, and now he's got less because Shula came down and stole one. But Pan does seem to be getting into a bit of a lead here. You know, Konstantinos has got all these combos going on. Oh, Mind Barb discards the Igor. That's not ideal. We've seen Pan make great use of that over the 2 rounds he's been streamed so far. And then Shula's actually taking out the Ganger Chieftain. Now, as it stands, keys cost 7 for Panagiotis here. But all Konstantinos needs to do is play a powerful creature, steal an amber, capture an amber, damage Ganger Chieftain while drawing an Iron Obelisk. Ooh, Binding Irons. That is just an action card that gives your opponent free chains. Now, that is actually limited to 2 per deck. I have a deck with 2 in. It's also a Time Traveler deck. It is my favorite deck. I adore it. The point here is that he's used it to chain Pan to hopefully try and slow him down a little bit. Now, we do see Exhume, which lets you play a creature as if it were in the active house. And because of Speed Sigil, it actually goes down ready. But remember, it lets you play it as if it were in the active house. It doesn't make it into the active house. So even though the Groggins goes down ready, this is a Dis turn, not a Brobnar turn. So he's not going to be able to use that Groggins. Fairly sure that's the ruling there. So welcome back to everyone who has joined in the stream for this time. We got the final going on. And at the moment, it seems to be Panagiotis' game to lose. Now, his opponent is on check, but only just. You know, Konstantinos has got 6 amber. You need to get rid of 1. He's playing Shadows. And that Grunt Buggy, remember, is double-sided. So if he can just play a creature, it'll do it. Now, he does have Relentless Whispers in his hand. The problem is you only steal if you destroy with Relentless Whispers, and Groggins and Ganger Chieftain have got 5 and 8 power. That's the wrong way around, but yeah, you get the idea. And, of course, Pan doesn't forge because he needs 8 and he's only got 7. Now, he is able, I believe that's a master plan he just played. Essentially, you put a card from your hand face down underneath it, and it's got an Omni ability that lets you play it and sacrifice Master Plan. So now we see another special delivery coming down, and all of a sudden, this is the artifact game. And now Nerve Blast is kind of the opposite of Relentless Whispers. It steals, and then if you steal, you deal damage. Whereas Relentless Whispers is do damage if you destroy, steal. So that's enough there. That puts Pan up to 10 amber, while Konstantinos is sitting there on 5 amber and not forging. Now Relentless Whispers comes down. Although it doesn't steal an amber, it gains an amber. So Pan is sitting there with 11 amber, doing extremely well for himself. He is only drawing 5 cards, though. Those chains are essentially, over the next 3 turns, are going to cost him 3 cards. So the only card we've got that chains your opponent, it is a very simple, straightforward card. You play it, your opponent gains 3 chains. That is it. That is literally the sum total of what that card actually does. So, now, we are seeing an Igor here. Of course, Igor did get discarded earlier. Konstantinos is actually using an Exhume to get Igor back, which is kind of interesting, right? Here, you know, I've been saying how good it is and how much he likes it, and now he's actually using an Exhume to grab it. Now, he did actually grab a lab work there. Now he gets a Cutthroat Research. Gets to steal a couple ambers. Not taking Pan off of check yet. No, it's not. So keys currently cost 9. Keys cost 9. We've got a Groggins out and we've got a Ganger Chieftain, each of which is increasing the cost by 1 by virtue of the Grunt Buggy. So Pan will be able to forge next turn. Now he won't. Partly Kashula stole an amber, partly Kashula's a 5 power creature and keys now cost 10. Lab work comes down, gets to archive a card, gains an amber, but Konstantinos has done what he needed to do here. Panagiotis, he now needs 9 amber to forge, and he's only got 8 amber. And that Grunt Buggy is putting in work. We've seen quite a bit of Grunt Buggy over the weekend. And in some games, it can kind of bite you more than help you. Konstantinos here really seems to be making the best use of Grunt Buggy. He really does seem to be able to use it in a way that hurts his opponent far more than him. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule. There are plenty of times it can kind of slow him down a bit as well, but it's not actually destroying it yet. So, now, I should mention at this stage, the final is best of 3, but it is not adaptive. That is to say, both players will be playing their own decks in all 3 games, assuming there are 3 games. Oh my goodness. I was just about to say that Pan is going to struggle to get the 6 amber away to stop Konstantinos forging. Uses too much to protect to steal 5 amber. Puts himself into a huge pool of amber. Now, he does still need to get 1 away from Konstantinos here. Now, he does play a special delivery. Now, remember that he's got speed sigil down. So he is going to be able to... We saw him purging a helper bot there with special delivery. He is going to be able to play a creature and immediately use it. Does he have a way of getting 1 more amber? Because there's no creatures on this side of the field. He needs to steal an amber. He needs to play a creature with 5 power or more. He needs to capture an amber. Otherwise, his opponent will be forging. And if Konstantinos can keep forging at 6, that is going to make a difference. Doesn't look like he can do it. So, I believe, unless I'm missing something, Konstantinos here can just forge a key at 6 amber. Oh, unless he played Miasma. Did I miss him playing Miasma? No, I didn't. Okay. I was going to say, he wasn't turning his key over. There's not actually any Miasma in Pan's deck. So, unfortunately, and that's got to be disheartening, right? When you're sitting there with kind of 8 amber not able to forge, and then your opponent's like, I forged for 6 amber. It's got to be a bit of a kick in the gut, hasn't it? Like, it's got to be really annoying when you're sitting there desperately trying to forge at like 9, 10, 11 amber, and your opponent's like, I pay 6. Oh, speaking of his opponent, an increase in the cost of keys. An Iron Obelisk has just come into play. And with a damaged Brobnar creature, that's going to make a difference. Pan's keys are now costing 10. 11. So we got Drummernaught, Ganger, Chieftain, Groggins, and Shula, all of which are 5 power or more, so that's 4. Plus, we've got the damaged Ganger Chieftain with the Iron Obelisk is 5. Now, that doesn't mean that Pan's not going to be able to forge. Pan will be able to forge. He has literally got 16 amber. In any ordinary game, he's got enough for 2 keys with 4 left over. But this is not an ordinary game. Now, the good news is Ganger Chieftain has been picked up by Drummernaught, which means that the keys are now 1 cheaper than they were. The bad news is the Ganger Chieftain Drummernaught combo is coming out, and that's going to lead to a bunch of amber. Now, usually it's a fighty combo, but we don't play it as a fighty combo. What we do is we try and find an empty board, and then we play it so they go down, and they keep being readied, but then there's nothing to fight. So then you get to go and reap instead. And this is how you just build up a huge amount of amber. Huge amount of amber. Oh my goodness. So there's a lot of amber coming down here, ladies and gentlemen. Now we get... Okay. So it seems like that is the end. And look, I think Pan is going to be able to forge here, but it's going to cost him 10 amber. 1 for the Groggins, 1 for the Shula, 1 for the Drummernaught, 1 for the Ganger Chieftain. So here's 16 amber. Now he has forged his second key, but his opponent just forged at 6. And his opponent has 8 amber. So Pan can still rush to win, but at this rate, Pan is going to need 10 amber, 12 amber, in order to actually forge his final key, whereas Konstantinos is potentially going to need 12 amber to forge his last 2, and he's already got 8. So we do see a Logos turn here. Starts off using Library of Babel to draw a card. Library of Babel is low-key a phenomenal card. It's like a mother that's really hard to get rid of and only works on Logos turns. Still great. So Titan Mechanic goes down, reduces the cost of forging by 1. Another Titan Mechanic goes down. Is he going to try and just... Oh... Yeah, so uses Charette to capture free amber. That had to be done. Now, he's able to do that because of the phase shift. He has, however, left a Titan Mechanic on a flank, so Constantinos can be forging a key at 5 here. As it stands... Yeah. I don't see anything else that's altering... Oh, sorry, no, Titan Mechanic. I'm being an idiot. So Titan Mechanic both increases and decreases the cost of forging a key by 1, so it is still 6. I keep forgetting, Titan Mechanic, he wins my prize for most surprisingly beefy creature in Keyforge. It's a 6 power, but you don't think it's a 6 power. It is a very surprising 6 power creature. It just kind of sneaks up on you. You're like, oh, that's not so... Wait, it's a 6 power? I always think of it as like a 2 or 3 power creature, but it's not. It's 6. So Groggins goes down by virtue of a... Is that a fear? Yes. Put an enemy creature to its owner's hand. It can come back down again, but it's gone for now. So Pan is currently paying 8 to forge a key. No, sorry, 7... because Titan Mechanic does lower it for him without lowering it for his opponent. He's got 6. Shula and Gang of Chieftain put it up 1. Titan Mechanic puts it down 1. He needs 7. He's got 6. Now he needs 8. He's got 6 because of the Groggins. Pile of Skulls goes down. This could be pretty huge. If he's able to take out the Charette, and he definitely is... then he's actually able to get the free amber back and capture one. Konstantinos' deck really does stop you forging. We have seen, though, without being, if every time he can get this Gang of Chieftain Drummernaught combo going, then he gets a lot more amber and he gets himself closer to winning, but he's not able to do it often enough. He does use the Gang of Chieftain to take out the Charette. Now, he gets that free amber, and of course, the creature is destroyed, so one gets captured. Yeah, and the beefiest creature here is the Shula in terms of remaining hit points, essentially. But then you got to worry a little bit about piling it all on the same creature. Now, he used Gauntlet of Command just to ready that Gang of Chieftain there to allow him to reap one more time. Gauntlet of Command lets you ready and fight. There's no one to fight, you reap. So, Konstantinos there, he's finishing with 9 amber, and he needs 6 to forge. Pan here, he actually needs 11 amber to forge. Plus 3 for the Grunt Buggy, plus 2 for the Iron Obelisk. So, Dominator Bauble goes down. Excuse me. And he uses Library of the Damned to archive a card. Now he uses Special Delivery to purge a creature. And actually purges a Gang of Chieftain, which could be huge. Plays down a Shula to steal an amber. Plays down a Toxin and plays down a Tentacus. And then uses Shula to destroy the Shula and get the amber back. Okay. That ain't too bad, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Tentacus is huge here. Because Tentacus reads your opponent must pay you 1 amber in order to use an artifact. Now, it's not going to affect Grunt Buggy or Iron Obelisk or Pile of Skulls because they're all just static abilities. You don't use them, they're just there. But Gauntlet of Command and Library of Babel, you now have to pay to try and use. So Konstantinos forges again, and he forges at 7, I believe, because Tentacus is a 5 power creature. But Konstantinos has paid 13 amber to forge 2 keys. Pan's been pretty much paying that per key. Really is putting himself in a backwards position here. It's putting himself in a very awkward position. So we do see a Titan mechanic down there on Konstantinos' side. And we've got some damage on the Groggins in the middle, which is helping with the Iron Obelisk. And Pan's got 8 amber here. And he's only 1 key away from winning. But it's almost kind of unfair. Konstantinos started this game behind. He has not been generating much amber at all. But he's been able to stop his opponent, or at least make it so expensive for his opponent to forge, that it's almost unfair. Now, he does take out the Tentacus, so he can use his artifacts as he likes now. Yeah, Iron Obelisk. For every damage-friendly Brobnar creature you have, your opponent's keys cost +1 to forge. Plus, you then got that pile of skulls every time a friendly creature is destroyed. Capture an amber. And what makes Pile of Skulls really good is that it's not destroyed by fighting, just destroyed in any way. So now we see just more amber coming down for Konstantinos. And like I say, you know, it's almost unfair, the fact that he has to pay so much less to forge. Now, that is a sloppy lab work. Gain an amber, archive a card, discard a card. Memory chip goes down there. So every time you choose logos as your active house, you archive a card. So Konstantinos can start trying to build up an archive here. But unfortunately, Pan needs 9 amber. He's got 6. Grunt Buggy wants 2 more. 1 for the Titan Mechanic, 1 for the Groggins. Iron Obelisk wants 1 more for the Groggins. So it costs 9. He's got 6. He ain't forging his 3rd key and winning now, ladies and gentlemen. And you see all the way through this game, both the players are just checking and going, right, what do I actually need? What is the cost of forging a key in this particular game? It's very awkward. And Konstantinos here is actually closer to forging a key than Pan is. Konstantinos, as it stands, needs 2 more amber. Panagiotis needs 3. And Konstantinos is playing the long game here. He's finally got his 6 artifacts out. And together they do make a great, great set of artifacts. And he slowed his opponent down enough that it looks like he might be able to whittle out this game. Pan just needs to keep going. Now, the good news is he's got a Bat Drone, and Bat Drone has got Skirmish and a Fight ability that steals an amber. Plus, he's played a Mother, so he gets an extra card at the end of his turn. He just used Library of Babel to draw one. So Bat Drone is going to be able to steal an amber, but he's still going to be quite far away. Although I think he can take out the Groggins here, yeah. Because they only had 2 left. So he actually gains the amber back while stealing an amber. Now puts himself onto 8. And he is actually now on check. And now he uses a Twin Bolt Emission to damage Igor and Mother, choosing not to damage a Titan Mechanic. Titan Mechanic doesn't really help. Like, it increases the cost of forging because it's a 6 power, and then it reduces it because it's on a flank, and it's kind of, call it a draw. It neither helps nor hinders. So Pan is finally paying 6 amber to forge a key, and he's got 9. I think that's a discussion they're having. I think Pan was assuming he could pay 1 less amber if he kept the Titan Mechanic out. But as I've said, Titan Mechanic is a sneaky, powerful creature. And unfortunately, it also increases the cost of forging the Grunt Buggy out. So now it's over to Konstantinos. Pan is currently paying... See, I would have got rid of that Titan Mechanic. Because the problem is now that if Konstantinos can play 2 more creatures, that will increase the cost of forging by 1. If he can, say, play 2 big Brobnar creatures, then keys will go up to costing 9, and he'll be quite close to finishing it. And I did say a minute ago Konstantinos might be able to figure this one out, but I don't know that he can. I think that last turn from Pan did enough that he's got enough amber with his opponent just not being able to slow him down. He needs to increase the cost of forging by 4, or steal 4 amber, capture 4 amber, or any combination thereof that adds up to 4, and I don't know if he can do it. Now, he is picking up his archive, though. So it looks like he's going to play a Sound the Horns. Or is he going to start off... He's going to start off with Flamethrower. Oh, and the judge just saying you got a mother out, don't forget your extra card. Now playing Sound the Horns, that's going to get him a Brobnar creature. That's a Calfine. So that will increase the cost of forging by 1 with a Grunt Buggy. So now it's 7. As soon as he plays it. And he's got another Brobnar creature. I cannot see exactly what that is. I think it's a Ganger Chieftain. So if he plays down the Calfine and the Ganger Chieftain either side of the Titan Mechanic, then Titan Mechanic's no longer on a flank, so it's just increasing the cost of forging. And then Calfine... Oh, wow. So Calfine, remember, it does 5 damage, but then it does 2 to each neighbour. So it actually takes out the Toxin and the Bat Drone while almost taking out the Mother. So now when Ganger Chieftain goes down, then that's going to leave 3 creatures out there, and Titan Mechanic won't be on a flank. So now keys are costing 9, but Pan's only got 7 amber, because remember, when creatures are destroyed, amber gets captured. And even though the Titan Mechanic goes away, that's enough, ladies and gentlemen. Pile of Skulls, remember. Pile of Skulls captures an amber every time a creature is destroyed. And every time I'm talking about Konstantinos' deck, I keep telling you all about the Grump Buggy Iron Obelisk combination. Let's not sleep on Pile of Skulls here. So now Grump Buggy is saying that keys cost 8 to forge. Pan's got 7. And once again, Pan is not on Jack. Nor is Konstantinos, but he ain't far away, ladies and gentlemen. Konstantinos' keys are costing 6 amber. Which is obscene. Like, given what he's doing to his opponent, that is utterly obscene. It's not fair, frankly. But nobody said life was fair. So now we see... Is that an Anguish? No. No, that's not an Anguish, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it's a Dust Imp. And it gets destroyed and it gains Pan 2 amber. And takes out the Calfine. And then Shula comes down to steal an amber. And you've got to give it to him, right? Pan is doing everything he can. Everything he can to get himself closer and closer to forging that 3rd and final key. He's now got 12 amber. Enough amber to forge 2 keys. Now, as it stands, he needs to pay 7. The only thing increasing the cost of forging a key is that single Ganger Chieftain that with the Grump Buggy makes keys cost 7. And actually, Konstantinos' keys cost 7 now by virtue of the Shula, which I believe actually has a Flame Reaved attached to it. This creature gains +2 power and Hazardous 2, so Shula's actually a 7 power creature at the moment with Hazardous 2. So every turn, Pan puts himself in a position to forge, and every turn, Konstantinos has got an answer. The thing is, there's only 1 creature out, and you've got to think it's deliberate. Pan doesn't even have many creatures out now. Because the more creatures he's got out, the more can be destroyed, the more amber can be captured. So now there is only a possibility of destroying 1 creature, and it's a 7 power creature with Hazardous 2. That's the only way to capture amber with Pile of Skulls. So Poltergeist here is going to use Library of Babel to draw a card while destroying it. Key to Disc goes down. Exhume goes down. What creature has he got that could help here? I don't think he plays Charette. I don't think Charette's in his deck. Charette would be great right now. But he can still play something powerful like Groggins, which increases the cost by 1. And it's active because of the Speed Sigil. Now he plays a Tentacus, so now keys are costing 9, and his opponent has 12. Is there anything else he's got? I don't believe there is. Pan forges his 3rd key and takes a 1-0 lead in the Poland Vault Tour final. The Archon one, not the sealed one. Now again, it's only a 1-0 lead. It's a best of 3. We ain't done yet, ladies and gentlemen. We ain't done yet. But we still do have a 1-0 lead from Pan here. Pan played that game phenomenally well. That was an utterly superbly played game there by Pan. Just a brilliantly, brilliantly played game. Now, neither player is shuffling up like there's going to be another game here. I'm sure there is going to be another game here. And at this stage, yeah, they are still sat there, so it does look like it is going to be a best of three. It's just really weird. For a moment then, both players acted like the game was over. They both kind of sat back in their chairs and didn't start shuffling their decks. Both of them looked like the game was done. Well, the game is done, but both of them looked like the match was done. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, what probably happened is both players finished the game and went, and I agree. That was a very tiring game. And they've got to do it all again, ladies and gentlemen. They've got to do it all again. Pan takes a 1-0 lead. And in a way, and like, right, I don't know Konstantinos. I don't know Pangiotis. I've not met either of these dudes, and if I have and I've forgotten, I'm really sorry. I don't know either of them. I don't have a rooting interest. I like being impartial. But I also really want an Age of Ascension deck to take down a Voltor. We are 3 months into the reign of Age of Ascension. We are pretty much halfway between just over, in fact, Age of Ascension being released and Worlds Collide being released. And so far, every Voltor that is Archon has been won by Call of the Archons. Age of Ascension, at the moment, is proving itself to be the weaker set. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want it to be the weaker set. I want both sets to be great. Having said that, it looks like me going for a walk with my family is already over. Boo! But oh my goodness, 3 games of this. So on the one hand, I'm kind of cheering for Pan because 3 games of the Grunt Buggy Iron Obelisk Mass might wear me out too much. And I'm kind of cheering for Konstantinotis because I want Age of Ascension to take down a Voltor. Oh, look! We're back to being impartial, ladies and gentlemen. We are back to being fully impartial. I mean, if we try breaking down the last game a little bit, Pan's deck did what it does. And it did it very slowly because of the whole Grunt Buggy Iron Obelisk shenanigans. But it still did what it does. And it took longer, but he was able to win. We didn't see the full power of Konstantinos' deck there. Sure, we saw the Grunt Buggy Iron Obelisk to full effect. But we didn't really see the Drummer nor Ganger Chieftain going off. Not like we did in his top 4 game. In the top 4 game, we saw a few turns where he was getting amber after amber with that combination. Okay, so we are off now with game 2, and Konstantinos starts off here with an Igor. Nice. Ooh, turn 1 Time Traveller from Pan here, gains himself an amber, draws himself 2 cards, plays down a Titan Mechanic, plays down a Bat Drone, plays down a Library of Babel. Not a bad little Logos turn to start off, gets 3 creatures, gets a Library of Babel. The problem is, Konstantinos' deck is very well set up for board wiping. Now, he's got a key to this, but he's also got a bunch of powerful creatures and a Gauntlet of Command and 2 Ganger Chieftain. Oh, turn 1, well, turn 2 Iron Obelisk, but not really. Then we see a Groggins coming down as well. Now, he is going to need that Grunt Buggy. And that's one of the things that Igor does so well in his deck, is it gets the Grunt Buggy a bit faster. So, Ganger Chieftain gets Groggins up. Groggins takes out the Time Traveller. Of course, if Pan gets help from Future South, he can get it right back out the discard. Oh, that will help. And then... yeah, he needs a grunt buggy. Like, I kind of hope he doesn't get it, just because the maths makes my head hurt. But Pan here really needs to try and rush. If you're Pan, you've got to be thinking, right, how fast can I do this? How fast can I gain amber before that grunt buggy hits the field? Because he knows that as soon as grunt buggy hits the field, his job in forging keys becomes infinitely more difficult. So if he can get rolling fast and gain a key or two before grunt buggy hits the field, that'll be huge. Iron Obelisk is already making him pay 7 because of the Groggins. But grunt buggy just makes things worse and worse and worse. So we do see a Library of Babel here, and we also see a Master Plan coming down. So Master Plan, you put that card down underneath it, and then you kind of, you can basically play that card whenever you want. Kind of like an awkward phase shift. Fun times. So we do see Silvertooth there, and we got the Bat Drone, we got the Titan Mechanic. It's up to 3 amber. It's not enough. Because these are only 36 card decks, and you draw till you got 6 cards at the end of your turn. So sooner or later, you're going to find every card in your deck. It's one of the really cool things about Keyforge. It's what makes it one of the more skill-intensive games that we have. You are going to find what you want. No cards are taken out of your deck as prize cards or life cards or any of that rubbish. You don't have to try and build your draw in, although you can, especially with logos. Because you're drawing until you got 6 at the end of your turn and you're playing 36 card decks, you run through your deck pretty fast. Because there's no you lose when you deck out rule like there are in other games, there's no disincentive to run through your deck. You will find everything you need. Now, we did see a couple of those creatures going down. The Titan Mechanic went down. Drummernaught now goes down and picks up Ganger Chieftain, which incidentally does make Pan's keys 1 cheaper, not that it matters. So now he's going to be able to play down Ganger Chieftain. Now, he will need to use Drummernaught to take out Silvertooth first. Will he not? Okay, no, okay. Drummernaught, when he is being used, can just reap and then return Ganger Chieftain. But Ganger Chieftain lets you ready and fight. Okay. So now there we go, the fighting. And now when Ganger Chieftain goes down, you have to fight. Oh no, but you can't, so blah, blah, blah. So then he gets a bunch of amber and the rule of 6 and all that good stuff kicks in. So they're just kind of accelerating things. Konstantinos has 4 amber, and this is not going the way Pan wants it. Pan has no creatures on the board. He's got 3 amber. This is the part of the game where Pan needs to try and forge a key or 2 at a cheap cost. Because as soon as that Grunt Buggy hits the field, and we saw in the previous game, right? When Grunt Buggy came down, it didn't go away. The only amber control in Pan's entire deck is Tentacus. Well, Tentacus doesn't interact with Grunt Buggy. Because you don't use Grunt Buggy, it's a static ability. So when Grunt Buggy hits the field, Grunt Buggy's staying out. You've got to try and be as fast as you can. And every turn where Pan's not forging a key just gets Konstantinos so much closer to finding it. And he will! Like I've said, he will find that Grunt Buggy. So down comes the Exhume, gets himself an amber bonus, lets him grab a creature from his discard pile and play it. Looks like he's going for Groggins there. Okay. And then that's his turn. Keys are costing 7. Now, he is actually on check, incidentally. So, I mean, Pan's only got to get 1 amber away from him, right? But he is on check. He has got 6 amber, and there's nothing on his side of the board that denotes keys cost more. So Shula comes down, steals an amber. There we go. Jobs are good. And Charette comes down and captures 3 amber. That's pretty good. Flame Reaved goes on to Charette. Now, that's huge, because not only does it give it Hazardous 2 and make it beefier, as Fear puts Groggins back in his opponent's hand, but it also puts it from below 5 power to above 5 power. So now if Grunt Buggy does come down, that's another creature that Pan can use to make Konstantinos' keys a little bit more expensive. So I like that combo. Putting the Flame Reaved on the Charette is a good thing. That's just really helpful. So Konstantinos here is just having a little bit of a think. What's he got? Okay, so now he plays down that Groggins. Now he plays down that Gauntlet of Command. They're exhausted, but they'll be ready soon. Okay. And, Ganga Chieftain readies Groggins. But Groggins will go down here. So will Charette, but Groggins will go down. At the moment, Charette is a 6 power with Hazardous 2. So Groggins would take 2 before the fight and then be knocked out by the 6 from Charette. So chooses to take down the Shula instead. Of course, Groggins can still take down Charette here. It'll go down, but it can take it down. So now we ready Groggins. Groggins takes 2 from the Hazardous, which does not destroy him, then fights the Charette, which destroys the pair of them, and Konstantinos gets 6 amber and goes back on to check. And that damaged Drummernaught means that Pan will not be forging a key this turn. Needs 7, has 6. As that Grunt Buggy gets closer and closer to the top of the deck. So down goes a Special Delivery, gets an amber. So he is now on check. And then Relentless Whispers takes out the Drummernaught, steals an amber, gains an amber. Now Nerve Blast comes down, steals an amber, does 2 damage to Ganga Chieftain, which incidentally does increase the cost of forging a key, but then can use Pawn Sacrifice to take it out, and then it goes back down to 6. This is what Pan needed a couple turns ago. Now the good news is there is no Grunt Buggy in hand, and there are no Brobnar creatures in hand. So as it stands, Konstantinos here cannot stop Pan forging a key at 6. Pan will forge his first key at 6, and the only real question now is, can he forge a second? I don't think he's going to get all the way to 3, but can he maybe forge a second? You've also seen Pan playing this game a little bit like, I need to take out some creatures. I'd rather not, but I kind of have to. So he's taken out some creatures to make it easier to forge. So Cutthroat Research comes down, steals a couple of amber, still leaves Pan on 9, but it also puts Konstantinos up to 7. Cutthroat Research isn't a great You Shall Not Forge card, because it takes them from like 8 or more down to 6 or more. And Logos doesn't have a lot of other good stealing or amber control. But it is pretty good just for gaining yourself amber. Don't think of it as, I'm stopping you forging. Think of it as, oh, you're going to forge, well, I'll get myself a couple bonus amber in the meantime. And it still takes 2 away from you for your next key. So Pan does forge, and Pan actually forges, and we might not be able to say this again for the rest of the final, for 6 amber. That's all he had to pay. He paid a measly 6 amber and got himself a key. How lovely. Now he chooses to get rid of the master plan. Now we put a bait and switch under it, so that gets him 2 amber. That's lovely. That puts Konstantinos down to 6. Charette captures 3, and that's it. Now remember, Master Plan has an Omni ability, and you get to play the card under it regardless of house, which is how we have bait and switch on a disc turn. Now we've got a Mind Barb gaining an amber and getting rid of a random card. Oh, you know he was trying to hit Grunt Buggy there. I don't think he's got it in hand. I could be wrong. What's that top card? No, top card there is Sound the Horn, so he still hasn't hit the Grunt Buggy. And we've seen the Ganga Chieftain Drummernaught conversation going off a bit. And but not enough. I'm confused. Why did Charette give the amber back? Charette should have that free amber. Okay, so the judge there just correcting it. I have no idea what just happened there. I see no reason why the amber would have gotten back. Oh, I think the argument here is he used Lifewood last turn. So Lifewood should stop creatures being used. And if you can't use creatures, then you can't play Charette to capture amber. So I think what they're trying to do here is just rewind it, because Lifewood got played, or Lifewood got used. Lifewood has an Omni ability, sacrifice Lifewood, your opponent cannot play creatures on their next turn. So what they're basically doing is rewinding to the start of the turn. Panagiotis will get a warning here for not keeping track of the game state. Good work on the judges. I must confess, I missed a Lifewood as well. So now Mind Barb goes down, and he can still do his turn. He can still use bait and switch if he wants to. But I think he's saving it. Because you see, bait and switch and Charette together put Konstantinos a little way away from forging. Oh, no. But now he's able to get rid of Master Plan. Oh, that's quite upsetting. Yeah, I was going to say, he also needs to forge a key. So now the Master Plan goes away. He should have used the bait and switch anyway. But he's still ending the turn on 6 amber, right? He's still doing okay. Or did he use the bait and switch? Maybe he did. Things are happening in a confusing order. So Shula's dealing an amber. Gub goes down. Tentacus goes down. Konstantinos has forged a key and has 1 amber remaining. Panagiotis has forged a key. And there's Pile of Skulls. Or is that Grunt Buggy? I think he might have Grunt Buggy in hand now. He's got Sound the Horns. He's got a Garganti Scrapper. 2 in the middle. One of them might be Grunt Buggy. And that's going to make this game take a lot longer. Because he's got 3 5-power or more creatures on the board already. Gub, Tentacus, Shula, they're all more than 5. Although Panagiotis has Tentacus as well. I'd like to take this moment while we've got a minute to apologise to both players for my pronunciation of their names. And also give a shout out to Crazy Killing Machine for running the stream. Carl and Steve, lovely dudes from the UK, giving up their time to go and judge Keyforge and run the stream. Lovely dudes. Make sure you're checking them out on Twitch and on YouTube because those guys are awesome. So Garganti Scrapper does go down now. And we see a Sound the Horns, which is going to go and get him a Calfine. Now we've got, there it is, Pile of Skulls and a Grunt Buggy. Everybody gives a collective sigh. And now all of a sudden, Pan's keys don't cost 6. Pan's keys cost 9 as it stands. But now when Calfine hits the field, it's going to be 10. Does he have enough of a lead to overcome this? And if he doesn't have enough of a lead to overcome this, can Konstantinos take advantage of that? There's a big Shadows turn coming up. Looks like he's got both Speed Sigil in hand. He's got Dodger. And a Too Much to Protect. But it depends if his opponent ends a turn with enough Amber. There's a great symmetry to that creature line right now. Sideways, upright, pushed forward, upright, sideways. So Charette goes down. That was Gauntlet of Command using that. And then, of course, a creature captures an amber because of the Pile of Skulls. And now this is what Konstantinos' deck is trying to do. He's got Pile of Skulls and Grump Buggy and Iron Obelisk all down on the field here. And he's playing against a deck that doesn't have artifact control. Not really. Not for those ones anyway. They're all kind of passive permanent abilities. Tentacus won't do anything. Now, if his opponent had something like Barehanded, that'd be fine. But he doesn't. Down goes the Speed Sigil, grabs an amber. If you're playing one, you might as well play another. Grab himself an amber. Then he plays a special delivery. Shame he doesn't have Carlo Phantom down. Doesn't have Carlo Phantom in his deck, but it'd be great if he did. So now we see Dodger taking away Garganti Scrapper and steals an Amber because that's his fight ability. So he's sitting there on 9. 9's not going to be enough. It takes 10. That Grunt Buggy makes it take 10. And it means that this game is going to be elongated. Now, someone is asking a question of did he actually pay to use Gauntlet there? Yeah. Right. So we are now over to Wild Wormhole. Plays it. Gets himself an Amber bonus. Lets him play the top card of his deck regardless of which house it is in. Love me some Wild Wormhole. Also adore the artwork on it. That creature, which is also featured on some of the Grand Championship artwork, or Prime Championship, one of the two. I think it's Primes. It's not actually been released yet. Affectionately called OP by the team at FFG, but that is not a creature which we've seen in the game outside of cameoing on things like Wild Wormhole. So now we actually do see the Entropic Swirl. Boom, finally remembered the name. Then we see a Sloppy Lab Work coming down. Archive a card, discard a card. And the game here is just so difficult for Pan to try and win. Having to overcome Iron Obelisk and Pile of Skulls and Grunt Buggy is huge. Because now he's got to try and get rid of all those creatures that are capturing his Amber, while trying to slow his opponent down to not forge a key, while gaining Amber, but gaining Amber like 50% faster than the 90% of other players need to. And if Konstantinos does win the Vault Tour, and we're way away from that yet, but if he does win the Vault Tour, this is going to be the thing that won him the Vault Tour. It is going to be these artifacts. It is basically a deck that is being led by artifacts. So now a Titan Mechanic goes down, which will do nothing. Well, it reduces Pan's keys by 1, but it does nothing for Konstantinos, who gets them increased and decreased by 1, so call it a draw. Okay, so he's now got 10 Amber, and that won't allow him to forge. 11 Amber is what's needed to forge a key here. There's 4 creatures with power 5 or above. Oh, he's actually purging. He's using special delivery here to purge Tesmal. He's like, you know what? It is difficult enough for me to try and forge a key with all of your artifacts. I do not need you demanding that I can't use a particular house. So Titan Mechanic goes and takes out the Gub and goes down himself. So now keys are costing 4 extra, so 10 is what is needed. So he's not on check yet. End's not on check. And his opponent will not be forging a key because both Mother and Tentacus are 5 power creatures. Konstantinos needs 8 Amber and he only has 6. There are going to be some decks out there that have really good artifact control, against which this particular strategy won't work. Unfortunately, this is not one of those decks. Oh my goodness. So, decision to be made here between Exhume and Poltergeist. So they're in his archive and he's trying to decide, am I going to go Dis? You got to think if he's going Dis, he's going to use them. If nothing else, he can just get rid of the special delivery and destroy the Tentacus. So, why not? But it depends if he's going Dis. If he's not going Dis, he probably doesn't want a couple Dis cards clogging up his hand. So it's a big decision. We are in the final. We are in game 2. Konstantinos is a game down. And he's in a decent position this game, but he needs to make sure he plays it properly. He doesn't have the luxury of being able to chill and just play willy-nilly. That's going to lose in the Vault Tour. So he is picking up those 2 cards. So you got to think he is going to go dis. So he plays the Poltergeist here. Gets rid of the special delivery, takes out the Tentacles just like we thought he would. And it does get purged, incidentally, because it's destroyed by special delivery. So now he's going to be able to play Exhume, presumably to get another beefy creature. Oh, he's also got Binding Irons. That's going to put 3 chains onto his opponent's deck. So now he's drawing less every turn as well. And this is all adding up. And now, of course, the creature is destroyed, so Pile of Skulls says that one of your creatures captures an amber. Now, Shula takes out Mother. And then the amber would go to Pam, but then the creature got destroyed, so he'd steal it, capture it, just put it straight onto Tentacus to save the worry. Then plays a Shula to steal an amber, and it looks an awful lot like Konstantinos is going to be able to bring this game home. Now, that is no guarantee. We are a little way away from the end of this game as it stands. So we've got 3 creatures out there, plus a damaged Brobnar. So keys cost 10 for Pan. He's only got 8 amber, so that's not going to be enough. And he's got 3 chains, so it's going to be 3 turns before he's actually drawing the right amount of cards. He had a Mother. Unfortunately, his Mother ran away. So down comes Shula to steal an amber. Now keys cost 7, but Konstantinos has 8. Dominator Bauble and Library of Babel go down. Toxin goes down. Ember Imp goes down. Shula then throws himself into Tentacus, gets destroyed. But I don't believe Pile of Skulls comes in, because Pile of Skulls is on your turn. Yes, there's no capturing amber with Pile of Skulls. I think Konstantinos is going to be able to forge a key here. And I think he's going to be forging for 6, you know. Because Ember Imp is like a 2-power creature, and Toxin's a 3-power creature, so yeah. Konstantinos forges at 6, and that's why this game is messed up. And I don't say that in a mean way, and I don't say that as any kind of insult to anyone. I say it as a literal description of the game. The game is messed up. Konstantinos, because of his deck, is making his opponent pay 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 amber to forge a key. And he's just sitting there at 6. And the other thing is, right, yes, Grunt Buggy does affect both sides of the board, but it's not equal. Because he's got 2 Gang of Chieftain, a Drummernor, a Groggins, all in his Brobnar suite. And he's got a Shula, and he's got a Tentacus, and he's got a Titan Mechanic. He's got a lot of bigger, beefier creatures. He's got a Calfine. Whereas his opponent doesn't. Now, his opponent does, to be fair, have 2 Shula and a Tentacus in Dis, which is nice. And does have Mother and 2 Titan Mechanic. And a Dodger. But bearing in mind, not every deck is like this. But even though Pan also has beefy creatures, Konstantinos' deck is better built for fighting and getting rid of them. It's just... It is difficult, ladies and gentlemen. It is really difficult. I mean, Pan is at a disadvantage here just because of what Konstantinos' deck does. And you've seen in this game, it's been a fairly slow game. There's been no Drummernort Ganger Chieftain combination here. And it doesn't even matter. That's what's so bad about this. He's not rushing Amber particularly fast. Now, he has got 4 creatures out. Yeah, we got a Shula, we got a Calfine, we got a Titan Mechanic, and we got a Tentacus. And this is all just... It's so difficult. Now, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11. So he's not forging. He's got 10 amber and isn't forging. Grunt Buggy says +1 for the Shula, +1 for the Calfine, +1 for the Titan Mechanic, +1 for the Tentacus is 10. Iron Obelisk says +1 for the damaged Calfine, and that's it. That's 11 amber. And he's not forging. So we do see a library access here, and he plays a Mother, so that's going to essentially balance out the chains, so to speak. WD Wolf says, ooh, finals. Yes, sir. Finals. So Health and Future Self is coming out. And that's going to grab a Time Traveler. Which, of course, adds up the pair of those cards, 2 amber, drawing 2 cards. So we're just looking there. It looks like Konstantinos is a little way away from forging now. Looks like he's got 4 amber. And the Mother is a 5 power creature, so that will increase the cost by 1 because of the Grunt Buggy. For anyone that's wondering, yes, of course, Grunt Buggy stacks. And there are decks out there with kind of double Grunt Buggy, and it just gets kind of awkward. So, Konstantinos is finishing on 11 amber. I mean, it's nominally enough at the moment. But who knows if it will be in the end. Oh, I'm enjoying this far more than I should be. So now we see a phase shift coming down. Draw a card. And now we see a Titan Mechanic. Draw a card. And he can now play a non-logos card. So down goes Ganymede Archivist. And he's still got more to go here. So he's having a big library access turn. Library access got an errata. Now when you play it, it gets purged, as in removed from the game. But every time you play a card, you draw a card for the rest of the turn. We are over an hour and about an hour and 15 minutes into the final at this stage. I'm like, if it's done by 1, I can go for a walk with my wife and daughter and her family. It's 1:30. And it looks a lot like we're going to go to a game 3. And there's new Pokemon cards revealed, including a new tag team supporter, which I need to get to for my Pokemon channel. So, to be fair, the weather's not looking great out, so I think I'm going to let my family go for a lovely walk in the woods. And then they're coming home for cake and scones. Not scones. And if you put cream on first, don't even come at me, right? Just don't even play with that. So, if you're not particularly into English culture, that might have gone completely over your head, and I apologise. But the point is, we have got a long game going on. And that's what Konstantinos' deck does. And you've got to kind of give some props to him. Because this is not an easy deck to play through 6 rounds of day 1. And then 4 rounds of day 2. It is exhausting playing a deck like Konstantinos is. If you're playing one of those Untamed decks with Full Moon and Key Charge and you just rush and forge in the middle of turns, yeah, of course. That's fine. But playing a deck like this takes a lot more thought. They're longer, they're more involved games. And especially when you've got kind of Grunt Buggy and Pile of Skulls and Iron Obelisk, which are 3 different ways to make it harder for your opponent to forge, you've really got to be thinking as to what you're doing and how you're doing it, in what order, etc. So, Pan has managed to get himself to 16 amber. And the thing is, even though he's going to be able to forge a key, how much is he going to have to pay for it? Because he can still win this. He can absolutely still win this. His way to win is to forge a key, stop Konstantinos forging next turn, and then forge another one. But if he's paying like 12 amber to forge, he's going to need a lot more amber to do so. Okay, looks like we got 5 amber from Konstantinos there, but the Titan mechanic means he's got to pay 7. So Pan's okay for a minute. And he has got a handful of Shadows cards. 4 Shadows and 3 Dis. So hopefully going to be able to steal some amber as well next turn if he goes Shadows. Big decision to make. Now I know he's got a Poison Wave in hand. And I think there's a Relentless Whispers there as well. Does have a couple of logos, discards, but I don't think that's as strong a play. So it looks like we're back over to Konstantinos now. He draws a card with Library of Babel. And for him, he just needs to get enough amber to forge, while playing as beefy creatures as he can. So he plays down Fire of the Research, then plays an Igor next to it to draw a card, and then Pan's just saying, excuse me, he's got an ability. So he chooses, Wild Wormhole's a great one to go for. So Cutthroat Research steals a couple of amber. That's huge, incidentally, because it not in terms of stopping Pan forging, but remember, he's ahead by a key. It's huge for him forging. Now we're going to see Wild Wormhole coming down. And really, this is a turn... What is it? Oh, it's a Gargantes Scrapper, but it's an alpha card. You can't play an alpha card halfway through your turn, so it just goes to the top of your deck. And you see what Konstantinos is doing here. He's not trying to destroy creatures to capture amber. He's not playing big creatures to increase the cost of Pan forging. He's taken a U-turn in terms of strategy. He's gone, you know what? I have stopped you forging for long enough. Oh, goodness. He's got a memory chip out. And memory chip says, when you choose logos as your active house, you must archive a card. He did not archive a card. So I think they fixed it here, but that essentially runs Konstantinos out of cards here. So he reaps with Halperbot, reaps with Fire of the Researcher, and after all of that, Pan is forging for 7 amber. After everything we've seen and everything we've talked about through this game, Pan is forging at 7 amber. That's wonderful. And he's already on check. He's already on... Oh my goodness, he's got too much to protect. That is huge. And we know he's got Relentless Whispers in hand, which can take out Fire of the Researcher or Halperbot. That might just be the play that makes him win the Vault Tour. I think Pan might have just won the Vault Tour with that 2-card combo. Because Konstantinos, like I said, in that and Nerve Blast again steals another amber. In that previous turn, Konstantinos said, I'm going to stop trying to stop you forging. I can't do it anymore. But I'm going to forge my 3rd key before you do, so it doesn't matter. But how does he stop this? I know he's got Grunt Buggy, and he's got Iron Obelisk, and he's got Pile of Skulls, but he's got 1 Power 5 creature on the board. He's got no Brobnar creatures on the board, and he doesn't have any way to get amber off of his opponent, really, like Too Much to Protect, Effervescent Printable, Doorstep to Heaven. He doesn't play these cards because he's got the slower, longer game that he does all the way through. He needs a card now like Shadowstorm, like Too Much to Protect, like Doorstep to Heaven. And I don't know that he's got enough in his deck to do this. Now, he's still going, so he might know something that I don't. Now, see, he can use Key to this, but then he's not capturing any amber. And right now, it's costing 7 amber to forge, and Pan's got approximately 70 amber. It's like 24. 2, 4, 6, 12, 18. Oh, 21. Sorry, I got flippant there. And let's face it, right? Konstantinos is down 1 game. It is a best-of-3 Vault Tour final. There's no need to concede unless you are 100% sure you have definitely lost the game. There's 45 minutes remaining. If you concede, you lose the Vault Tour, and your day is over. So there's no point conceding until you have tried absolutely everything. So destroys a creature, captures an amber. Keys are now costing 9, 10. So destroys Ganymede Archivist, captures an amber. And we've got 1, 2, 3. So we got 4, 6. Okay, so keys are now costing 12. Keys are now costing 13. But he's got 13. He's got 16. Keys cost 13. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5 creatures out of power 5 or more. We got 2 damaged Brobnar creatures. That makes 7 more for Keys, which means Keys cost 13. Pan has, it looks like 16 amber. So it looks like Konstantinos is just 3 amber away. Uses Gauntlet of Command, but he can't steal out. He can gain amber, but he can't steal amber. There's no creatures to destroy to capture amber. So he's... Oh, sorry, no, it's 14. It is 14 because of the damaged Garganti Scrapper, but it looks like he's got 17 amber. I believe it is 14. And he's got 14! Pan forges his 3rd key and wins your Archon Poland Vault Tour. Congratulations, an extremely difficult game. A very well played game by both players. It was not the day, unfortunately, for Age of Ascension to go ahead and win. Simple as that. It really doesn't surprise me that Call of the Archons won. Konstantinos tried so hard there. He did everything he could. He played a wonderful game. But at the end of the day, Pan had just enough amber and just enough creature removal and just enough of everything. On paper, the fancy special, oh my god, that's an amazing combo deck, belonged to Konstantinos. But the deck that won the Vault Tour belongs to Pan. Congratulations to him, a very, very worthy winner. Panagiotis Kyriakou takes down the Poland Vault Tour, the Archon, and that is a very, very difficult thing to do, especially against a deck he was against. If you're on YouTube, thank you very much for watching all of this. I won't let this go any longer because this has been a very long game. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Please check out the Patreon if you're so inclined. And just make sure you look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.